but I'd like to just demonstrate it for you so that you can see it put into practice by someone that I've never met before, who's here in the audience today. And I'd like her to come up. She's volunteered to come up. She's been mic'd. And come on up and say hello. This is Eleanor, is that right?
Eleanor.
Great. It's nice to meet you, Eleanor. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to just stand and face me, if you will. And I'd like you to just give me your full name.
Eleanor Corey Waskovich.
Your name is Eleanor Corey Waskovich. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like you to take this arm, if you will, and I'd like you to hold it out, and I'd like you to make a fist, if you will. And I'm going to take 2 fingers here, I'm going to put one hand here, and I'd like you to resist me as hard as you can. I just want to see, is that the truth? That is your name, Eleanor Corey Waskovich? You're telling me the truth?
I'm telling you the truth.
Okay, I'm going to resist. I'd like you to resist as hard as you can. And would you say that right now you are strong or weak? And that I'm putting pressure? Could you feel the pressure?
Yes.
Okay. Now what I'd like you to do is I would like you to make up a name when I ask you your name, and no matter how I try to persuade you to the contrary, I want you to tell me that this is your name. I want you to lie to me. You'll be forgiven for this, all right? It's just a demonstration, all right? Okay, so what is your name?
My name is Hilda Smith.
Hilda Smith.
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me that your name is Hilda Smith?
Yes, I am.
And is that the truth?
Yes, it is.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
What is your name?
Hilda Smith.
And that's the truth.
That's the truth.
Okay, hold on to that thought and resist me as hard as you can, okay? I'd like you to. Okay. Now give me your real name. What is your real name?
My name is Eleanor Corey Waskovich.
Is that the truth?
That's the truth.
Okay, resist me. Okay, now I'd like you to give me the other name. What is your name?
Hilda Smith.
Is that the truth?
That's the truth.
You're telling me the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
Okay, hold on to that thought.
I'll hold on to that thought.
Okay, and resist me as hard as you can. Do you see the difference?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
There was no way I could keep my hand up.
Yeah. We could have saved $93 million by bringing President Clinton up here. I'd like you to go back to a moment in your life, and I don't want you to share it here on television or anything. I'd just like you to think of a moment when you experienced shame in your life, all right? Something that you did, Eleanor, at some time in your life, young girl, woman, whatever it might be, that you felt shame. You don't have to share it or ask it, but I'd like you to just go to that thought and that feeling that comes about as a result of that thought. Try to relive that moment. Can you come back to that moment? Okay, and hold your arm out. And now you're thinking shame, okay? You're ashamed of something, okay? And resist me as hard as you can, all right? And what would you say?
I was feeling weak.
Okay, try again. Resist now as hard as you can, okay? You're ashamed, ready? And it's almost as if you have no strength at all. Shame on the map of consciousness computes at the absolute lowest, all right? I'd like you to think now of a moment of someone in your life that represents the highest spiritual energy that is possible. Whether it's a Buddha, whether it's Jesus, a Mother Teresa, a St. Francis, anybody at all that ever walked on this planet that to you symbolizes the highest spiritual mind. Would you put your arm up, please? And I'd like you to get a picture of what she symbolizes and resist me. And would you say that that is making you strong or weak? You're very confused now. Now I'd like you to get a picture of someone that symbolizes evil. I'll give you a little help with it. Let's try an Adolf Hitler. Okay. Someone who represented as symbolized putting children into ovens, someone who had a final solution, someone who is a symbol of that which we despise, perhaps, okay, or Charles Manson or something. Can you get a picture of Hitler?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, and put this, and get that picture in your mind. Just get a picture and resist me as hard as you can. Resist as hard as you can. Did you say that makes you strong or weak?
We're finally learning some of this information that's been intentionally kept from us. Dr. Bruce Lipton, an American biologist, says learning how to harness your mind to promote growth is the secret of life. Let's see what he has to say.
Look, I can feed you with an idea that this pill that we just got from the pharmaceutical company, it's the greatest, best thing for your issue. And I give you this pill and you get better. And then later you find out it was a sugar pill, and everybody goes, yeah, that's called the placebo effect. And I go, what does it really mean? I said, you didn't get healed by the pill, you got healed by the belief in the pill. And I go, well, yeah, that's what placebo is all about. And at least 1/3, minimum of 1/3 of all medical intervention is, it's a placebo effect where the healing comes from. And everybody goes, yeah, I know about the placebo. I go, yeah, but that's a result of positive thinking. What about negative thinking? And this is what we don't talk about, but the reality is it's equally powerful in regard to affecting your biology as is positive thinking, but it works in the opposite direction. A negative thought is called the nocebo effect. Can cause any disease, and you can die. If you believe you're going to die, you can die from the belief. So we really have to watch out, because as psychologists would tell us, 70% or more of our thoughts are negative and redundant, replaying the same negative thoughts. I go, if thoughts had nothing to do with it, fine. But thoughts, positive or negative, shape our biology, and all of a sudden it says, well, now it's time to wake up, because our negative thinking is manifesting a negative life experience. The only problem is this: when you invest so much money into a belief system, and then a belief system isn't really right, you try to hold on as long as you can, because if you spend hundreds of billions of dollars in this belief, you don't want to just go, oh, okay, we'll just change it. So it's a struggle, but the reality is coming forward, and the public is just becoming aware of it, and it's a revolution, because, as I said, if you believe genes control your life, you're a victim of your heredity.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. When I say genetic control, that's the belief that genes control our characters. When I say epigenetic control, almost sounds the same, but epi means above. So when I say epigenetic control, literally it's control above the genes. And this is what we now recognize, that the environment, and very specifically our perception of the environment, changes our genetic activity. So that means, oh wait, that's not a victim, because I can change my environment, I can change my perception, and all of a sudden, if I can do that, then I can control my genes. Well, we're going from victim to mastery. When parents have one child, they raise it like the first child. Okay, I raised the child this way. After that, if they have a second child, well, they already have all the different experiences of having a child, so they raise the second child different than they did the first child, etc., to the third. What's the point is, well, I can start with the same genetics, like my stem cells, same genetics, but it's the environment in which the genes are found that will determine the character and expression. Now, what people have to understand about epigenetics is it changes the reading of the gene. It does not change the gene. If you're born with gene X, you're always going to have gene X, but how will it express itself? And I go, well, it depends on your life and your character, your behavior, your environment. It's genes plus environment. If it was just genes, I would be able to tell you exactly, here's what's going to happen. But most of that is changeable by how you live and where you live. So you got about 7 major diseases, only one gene. If you got that gene, and the gene card shows it, okay, you got that gene, you're going to deal with it. All the other diseases are multiple genes. Cancer is a minimum of 12 to 14 genes, so it's not an accident. You can't change one gene and get cancer. You have to change 12 to 14 genes, and all of a sudden, then probability is a chance? It's like, no, we are creating a cancer, and we can uncreate a cancer. People have spontaneous remissions, but they change it not by changing their biology, but by changing their mind.
They've hypnotized us into thinking that Big Pharma and Western medicine is the only way to heal ourselves. They've removed spirituality from the healing aspect. Our history shows us, for example, that shamans use plant-based medicines for eons. Another example is the Tibetan singing bowls, frequency healing. We need to get back in touch with ourselves and use some of these natural and homeopathic ways for healing, but most importantly, align our body with our mind. The first step into alignment is self-acceptance. You've got to allow to forgive yourself. We all came here to learn lessons. So don't be so hard on yourself. You were meant to fail. As long as you can learn from those failures, you're doing your job. We also must work through the the trauma and the pain that we've had to deal with. Traumatic events, by definition, overwhelm our ability to cope. When the mind becomes flooded with emotion, a circuit breaker is thrown that allows us to survive the experience fairly intact. That is, without becoming psychotic or frying out one of the brain centers. The cost of this blown circuit is emotion frozen with the body. In other words, we often unconsciously stop feeling our trauma partway into it, like a movie that's still going after the sound has been turned off. We cannot heal until we move fully through that trauma, including all the feelings of that event. Susan Peace Bannett, The Trauma Toolkit, Healing PTSD from the Inside Out. Next comes the healing. When you're aligned and you're okay with yourself, you can sit in your body and accept yourself and be okay with the things you've done because you've asked forgiveness, you've worked through the pain. That was your job, to come here and learn. Then you can start that healing. Then come those positive thoughts and those beliefs. You have to rewire your brain. You have to rewire your thinking. Those thoughts that are on replay in your head like a tape recorder, telling you you're not good enough, making you doubt yourself, making you doubt others. It's hard work. It takes mindfulness and constant awareness of those thoughts. You have to stop yourself every so often and think, what is my brain thinking? Because it's on autoplay. As I've discussed in previous videos, I feel that this trauma and fear has been purposely programmed into us in order to prohibit our growth as humanity. Again, we have that unique human spark that makes us divine. And they have greatly underestimated it. Come on, we all know that this social distancing and masking doesn't feel right in our guts. Intuitively, we know better. Humans aren't meant to be alone. We gain energy from others, and we give energy to others. It's part of the human experience. So we've learned that thought forms, feelings, expressions are all energy. Next, we harness the good kind of energy to help ourselves and one another. When I actually realized and started believing that my thoughts actually made a physical difference, I can't tell you how much of a game changer this was for me. I was in a really, really dark place 5 years ago. And I thought it was all bullshit. I'm telling you it's not. It takes a while to reprogram, but once you start being mindful of those thoughts that are behind the curtains and that sneak their way in and putting a stop to them, you will be freaking amazed on the difference and how clear you'll be. It's truly amazing. Remember the quote about the grandpa, the wolves, and the little boy? And the little boy asks the grandpa, which one wins? And the grandpa says, whichever one you feed. That's how it is with your thoughts. Don't feed the negative. Believe. It's our perception. If you think it's going to change you, it will. Thank you all for giving me patience. I've had to take some time off and to do some reflecting, and I've actually received some healing myself, and I'm soon going to be able to share that with all of you. So hang tight. God bless, and I love every one of you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.